On March 31st, 1995, a groundbreaking comedy was released. Tommy Boy, starring Chris Farley and David Spade, fresh off SNL in their first major starring role. A ridiculous movie about an overweight man-child who's been given everything in his life is now forced to actually work for once to save his family's company. It's brilliant. It's hilarious. It's an anniversary. We both recently saw it in theaters, and we figured it would make for a great Sunday episode, so why not?
It only makes sense. Tommy Boy's turning 25 this month. We both turned 25 in January.
Yes.
Like you said, we got to see it at Draft House.
Yep.
Will likely be the last movie you and I go see in theaters for quite some time.
Yeah, most of the year.
And yeah, Tommy Boy, needless to say, is like one of my 5 favorite like purebred comedies. Where you know, there's movies that are like, you know, you and I have talked about like Big Lebowski or Grand Budapest Hotel, where there's more things happening.
Yeah.
There's more being done. Tommy Boy is a through and through make you laugh comedy.
Without a doubt.
And it's one of my favorites that does that, just that.
With a very brief film career, only 4 major starring roles, Chris Farley made a hell of an impact on comedy just from SNL and his appearances. He unfortunately OD'd in 97 at age 33. We lost him way too soon. He's arguably the funniest son of a bitch who ever walked out of SNL.
Yeah.
And we talked about him several times, and I know he came up in the Blues Brothers episode.
Yeah.
And we wanted to finally talk in depth about this guy and how much we love him. And Tommy Boy was the perfect vehicle. So let's get into this. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
And I'm Austin Johnson.
And get ready to laugh in an episode of Filmgazm. Tommy Boy. Been around as long as I can remember. I've always been watching this movie.
Same. This is one of those, I've owned it on DVD since I knew what DVDs were.
Yeah, one of my first DVDs too.
Yeah, I love it. Even when I was watching it like as a kid, even like my mom would be like, hey, just skip that one scene of the girl at the pool, you know.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, when I was a kid, yeah. Well, I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of stuff, man. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, you were shown like The Thing at a young age. That was something that I would not have been allowed to see for quite some time.
Yeah, I had my eyes opened early.
Yeah. This is just not the case for me. Like, comedies were much more like I wasn't allowed to see American Pie for a while, you know, until I was older, stuff like that. That raunchy 90s era.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Tommy Boy's a part of that. Obviously, it's a very harmless movie in hindsight, but I don't know. You know, I guess...
I don't know. I mean, there's a scene of, like, there's a masturbation scene. Like...
That's that scene.
I get
it's all right there.
Yeah.
Were you watching Spanktravision? I didn't get that when I first saw the movie.
I didn't either.
I had no idea what those jokes were. I bet she dates one of the Yankees, you know. I didn't know what all that really meant, you know, until I got a little bit older.
Yeah.
So, you know, and yeah, it's been a staple. Chris Farley is my favorite, you know, comic. My favorite, definitely my favorite guy from SNL. Like you said, we talked about Blues Brothers. That was the first SNL movie we've done. Here's the second one. It only makes sense that we would do this. I think that, you know, Blues Brothers, this one, and Wayne's World are just on a different level, you know, of quality. Tommy Boy is, like you said, the formula is pretty simple. We've seen it a million times before, but just Chris Farley puts his charm on it, and it immediately makes it a classic.
That dude was on 24/7, and he always knew how to make people laugh.
Yeah.
In any situation, the guy was a born and bred comedian, and God, what he could have gone on to do, what he could have been, such a damn shame.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we didn't get to see him even do more than 5 movies. So yeah, there's no telling. When I see David Spade, Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, I see what these guys are doing now, and I'm like, man, like, oh, I really wish I could have seen what he would have done. You look at Sandler and he's in Uncut Gems, you know. You look at David Spade and he's been in TV shows. He's done all kinds of stuff. You look at Chris Rock, he's about to be in Fargo, you know, and he's about to be in the new Saw movie. Just, man, you know, I feel like we were just robbed of this really, really fascinating career that would have unfolded, that would have gone beyond comedy. I really believe that. I think he was
absolutely.
I think he was a fantastic actor.
Well, I read in his biography that his brother wrote.
Oh yeah, great book.
Being groomed to play silent film actor Fatty Arbuckle
Yes.
in a biopic that likely would have gotten him some Oscar attention. And can you imagine what this guy? That would have been so great. It's like perfect role there. I know a little bit about Fatty Arbuckle. And, would have been really cool to see Chris Farley play that guy in that world. But I don't know, man. Something about we lost a lot of good comedians in the 90s.
Yeah.
Chris Farley, John Candy, Phil Hartman. Like, it just kept coming. It's really sad.
Yeah, it's devastating. And you know, obviously, you know, Tommy Boy came out the year we were born, so this is all history to us.
Yeah.
You know, he was dead before we knew what was what, so all of it is history to us. I just selfishly, for my own, I just wish I could have seen him become whatever actor he was going to become in his late 30s and his 40s, and we just didn't get to see that. But what we did get is absolute gold.
Yes.
Even going from before Tommy Boy, going to just, you know, his little bits in Billy Madison, his little bits in Wayne's World. It's like the funniest parts of the movies, you know? He immediately steals the show. On Wayne's World, he has that bit where he's describing what's going on, like where they're going to be going on tour, and he's like, then back through Detroit, and he's pointing in directions that are completely wrong, you know? Back through Detroit, up through Chicago, you know? Just total Chris Farley owns it. He's on the screen for like 30 seconds, but he just owns it. And then, you know, Billy Madison, come on, as the truck driver, or bus driver, sorry. Just legendary. His hair is like just laminated to his head, and he's just, you know, not a good bus driver, you know. Kind of all over the place at the wheel, you know, a banana gets thrown at him. Ah! No yelling on the bus! You know, screaming, you know, he immediately goes from 0 to 100 better than anybody. You know, we've talked about all kinds of actors. We talked about PSH for a long time about how he can go so abrupt so fast. Farley, like, has that. That's why I wish we could have seen him do more stuff, is I think he, like, actually had some serious chops. And my favorite thing about Farley is his ability to be a team fucking player. His ability to step to the side and realize, I'm the big dude, I'm going to be the physical guy, and let this guy take the limelight for a minute, you know?
Yeah.
And he knew how to do that so well. Such a good team player. And that goes back to him being an actual rugby player at Marquette.
Yeah.
And that, you know, is like in the first scene of Tommy Boy, we see him with his jacket running. It's classic. That's a part of him. He's like an incredible athlete, actually played rugby, unbelievable chemistry on screen with all kinds of actors, could do anything comedically. I feel like we were robbed of like a legend, you know?
We really were.
Yeah. I think, you know, people look back and they just talk about Tommy Boy and Black Sheep. It's like, I think about the skill he had and what could have come afterwards, you know? That's the most devastating part for sure. What was the first thing you like remember seeing him in? Was it the SNL stuff or was it these movies?
It was Black Sheep.
Yeah.
That was
Black Sheep and Tommy Boy were the first two things I saw, and then came SNL. Which totally stole my heart, of course.
Without a doubt. Black Sheep, though, I often go back and forth between which one I like better, Tommy Boy or Black Sheep, because Black Sheep is fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
And,
they're virtually the same movie.
Pretty much, yeah, same exact.
It's Farley and Spade banter.
Winning formula, you know, keep it going. Mm-hmm. And
vote for Donnelly. Yeah, there's just some killer lines in that movie. You gotta fight for your right
to vote.
Kill Whitey. That whole scene is just.
For me, it's when he falls down the hill and he's just like, "What
the hell was
that all about?"
Yeah. The bat in his hair. Yeah.
Thank you, Little Roots. Please stay strong.
Please. Oh, so good. Being aware of his weight, like he's so aware of like how his physicality. It's awesome. I love that, man. Not to mention Gary Busey with just a heat check performance in Black Sheep. Good God. Black Sheep will get its own episode one day.
Yes.
Amazing movie.
Absolutely.
Tommy Boy's definitely the.
I'm not that far from dragging you out of the car and beating you into dust. Should work up to that. Kind of leaves you nowhere to go. Jesus Christ. Well, Tommy Boy, it was written by Bonnie and Terry Turner, the comedic duo who would create Third Rock from the Sun.
Yes.
Among other things. Directed by Peter Siegel, who I believe he did Ace Ventura.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I think. Let me confirm that.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, that sounds right.
Nope, I was wrong.
Who are you thinking of?
I don't know.
I'll find out.
But
yeah, this is 51st Dates, Longest Yard. Yeah.
Naked Gun 3.
Acre Management.
Yeah. So he had some good ones, but Tommy Boy is easily his best movie, just looking at that filmography.
For sure.
Co-stars Rob Lowe, who plays Paul Barish, con man who marries his way into the Callahan family. And Rob Lowe is uncredited in this movie. He was working on The Stand for TV and couldn't commit to something else, so he took this part as a favor to his friend Chris Farley, which is pretty significant because it's a big role. He's the bad guy.
Yeah, it's a huge role. Extremely essential to the movie.
Yeah.
And for that to just be a favor shows, like, I'm doing this for Chris. Yeah, Chris must have been the coolest guy, you know?
Must have been.
Well, everybody, you know, obviously he was a troubled soul.
Yeah.
But, like, all those guys say that, like, yeah, he's fucking awesome to hang out with. Like,
but dude had a dark side. Mm-hmm. I mean, he and David Spade were fighting most of the production.
Oh yeah. And Sandler talks about how, like, you would have to, like, just kind of like keep your eye on him sometimes, you know?
Yeah. You get him drunk, you get him high, he gets angry.
Yeah.
It's like the Hulk. Sad. Co-stars Brian Dennehy as Big Tom Callahan, Tommy's father. Brian Dennehy's been around for a long time. I remember him as the douchey cop in First Blood. Bo Derek plays Beverly, Tommy's fake stepmom, who is married to Paul. And I don't really know much of Bo Derek's career, honestly. I know her primarily from this.
Yeah, me too.
I know she did a movie called 10 back in the day.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we got Dan Aykroyd as Zelensky.
We talked about Dan Aykroyd.
The auto parts king. Oh, one of my favorite Dan Aykroyd roles, without a doubt.
We talked about Dan Aykroyd a couple times.
He comes up a lot in Filmgazm.
Yeah.
We love Dan Aykroyd.
He'll keep coming up. Don't worry.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Roman Craig, Ray Zelensky.
Yes.
He's great at playing just a dick.
Yeah.
Chicago
just a
douche. He's perfect at that. That is his bread and butter. And he is so good in this. His hair, he's just ridiculous.
God, I love that.
Put a little coin in my pocket, might be in the asshole. Just the way he talks, I love it. Tommy Boy. IMDb score, 7.1. Rotten Tomatoes score of 42%. You believe that? God.
Bastards.
Though it benefits from the comic charms of its two leads, Tommy Boy too often feels like a familiar sketch stretched thin. God, I feel sad for these people. 90% audience score. You know, so take that. People love this movie. Tommy Boy is a great cult comedy.
Oh, it's one of the most quoted movies in my life, like amongst my friends and my brothers. We quote it non-stop.
It was a big hit. Grossed $32 million on a budget of $8 million. So, you know, for comedy, in the 90s, great effort.
Fantastic, yeah.
And turned Chris Farley into a box office success, which could have gone to so many great places. And, let's get into this. Let's do Tommy Boy.
All right. Very familiar, plot synopsis here for Connor and I, but we'll glide through it here and kind of, pick apart our favorite bits and quote it along the way.
Why not? It sounds like fun.
So after 7 years at college...
Well, first, we meet Tommy as a kid, where the very first thing we see him do...
Yeah, he's running to this
glass door.
Son of a... And he's late. Late again, Tommy? You're pathetic. Shut up, Richard!
I love he drops his history book.
Yeah.
Never got over that.
No.
And then we see him miss the bus again as a college student on the day of his history final.
Yeah. Oh, his history final.
He takes off running.
And his history final, one of the questions, the only question we see is talking about a very big document here in the United States that was signed by
Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Blank Hancock.
Yeah. And he's like, of course. And writes down Herbie. Herbie.
Tells you all you need to know about this doofus. I love one of my favorite little bits is when he's running to try to get to the building and he hops through the hedge and hits the wood.
Yeah. And then when he's sprinting and then stops because there's those two girls. Hi, how are ya?
Love when he's running at that guy and the guy's like, ah! He thinks Tommy's gonna jump him.
Or when Tommy's opening the doors and they don't. Come on!
No, please, God! No.
And that girl just barely, yeah. Classic. What an intro. You know?
Yeah.
And then and then
Idiot.
and then he goes and is looking at his grades, and he's going down. Oh, excuse me. He completely moves people out of the way, and he's looking down for his name, Tommy Callahan. I got a D plus. I passed. And then he grabs this guy and starts shaking him. I wish we'd known each other because this is a little awkward.
In that scene, when we saw it at the movies, I never noticed this before. His teacher is in the background, looking at him with such disdain, like this idiot. Damn. 7 years he's taught this
moron. So of course, he's going to graduate, and he's very excited. And they show him kind of partying with his rugby teammates and smoking weed and drinking, and he passes out.
We're gonna show.
Yeah. That's honestly the weirdest scene in the movie when he's like, especially you. I'm always like, why is that in the movie? Chris is
no. You were the best.
Yeah. I'm gonna miss you guys.
It's so insincere.
It's great.
I bet he failed that test. I bet they gave him a D plus just to get him the hell out of there.
Yeah, 7 years, man.
Just like, we can't take this anymore.
So after 7 years, Tommy Callahan, the third, barely graduates from Marquette, which is where he actually went. And he's going to return home to Sandusky, Ohio. Which is, obviously where Tommy Boy takes place mostly. His father, industrialist and widower, Big Tom Callahan, played by Brian Dennehy. Just a wonderful performance.
Oh, they couldn't have cast his father better.
Yeah, how there is no one other than like his own dad that could, conjure that up.
He's such an endearing guy. Like, this family's they're good people. They basically have kept this town alive for generations.
Yeah. Why say no? It feels so damn good to say yes. Oh man.
I love we meet Richard at the airport. He meets Tommy at the plane. He's like, I thought you were gonna be here this morning. Like, well, he was here, but you weren't on the plane. Yeah. Should have called. Well, I did call, and
what number did you call?
Later, and I left a message.
249er760.
Can't hear you.
You're trailing off there.
I catch a niner in there.
What you calling from? A walkie-talkie?
No, it was cordless.
That has to be you. Yeah, it's just great because you have classic banter between Farley and Spade, and Farley's like, oh, like what's going on with the old high school crew? He's like, oh, I don't really like the whole old high school gang, and they're seeing that everything's shut down. The tire plant, all these plants are shut down except for Callahan Auto, which is owned by his father.
A lot of people go to college for 7 years.
They're called doctors.
Oh, God.
Has a thin candy shell. I'm surprised you didn't know that.
I think your brain has a thick candy shell.
Your brain has the shell on it.
Are you talking?
Oh, I can hear you getting fatter.
God.
So he's home, and he goes to Callahan, and he's still got his Marquette rugby jacket on, and I love that when he first gets there, and that's when you see like the pictures of the Callahans, and he's like, and one day my son's gonna own it. And that's when Tommy, and we have the
the sumo wrestling opener.
It's beautiful.
There's such a weird thing, but I like that they all, the family-owned thing, how they've always been, Tom's like the fifth generation to do this. I like that.
Me too. It's a good touch.
I had a Callahan Auto shirt.
I still do. Yeah.
I lost mine.
I wore it to my like 9th grade or 10th grade like class pictures. Just got me. Everybody's wearing like nice clothes, and I have a bright green Callahan.
That's awesome. The same one I had.
It's awesome. I'm fucking proud of that picture.
That's fantastic.
Oh man.
One time during I think it was like 2nd or 3rd grade, I didn't know it was picture day. I had a big old sumo wrestler shirt on. It was like a red shirt that had a sumo wrestler just going like wah in the middle of it. My mom was pissed.
I didn't know. I swear to God, I
had no idea. I'm gonna try to find that picture.
I did not know. So Tommy goes back. They're kind of walking around. You're hearing that Big Tom needs a loan from the bank.
Yeah, needs capital.
Yeah, and they're kind of looking at stuff and going to look at the brake pads and whatnot in the new division. And that's one of my favorite scenes physically from Farley in this movie is when he's, whoa, you're coming awfully fast there.
He's dodging the cranes.
Got cat-like speed reflexes. All that is like, as a kid, you're immediately like, that guy's the funniest person in the world.
I was just checking the speed on the rotary girder. I'm retarded.
Yeah.
Straight up.
That's great, you know. And that's when we go back inside the building, and he's like, "Can I open my eyes now, Dad? For God's sake, son! I didn't tell you to close them in the first place."
Isn't it? Do you think it's weird that like this company's been in business for like almost 100 years, and they're just now making brake pads?
Yeah, it doesn't seem quite
It's a little
quite
weird.
right. Yeah,
I mean, I'm no.
we got air fresheners, but we don't have brake pads.
I don't make cars, but I'm pretty sure that's
Like
pretty
an essential
part of a car. This is It's 95. You're just now getting into brake pads.
Yeah,
Jesus, maybe not a good business plan, Tom.
come on, Big Tom. Well, Big Tom's got other things on his mind.
True, very true.
So, now Tommy Boy has his own office, and David Spade's like, sure, he's only been here for an hour.
Oh, you got a window. Why shouldn't you? You've been here 10 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, I've interrupted happy time.
That was some Star Wars.
Yeah.
I know.
It's called reading, top to bottom, or left to right. Group words together in sentences.
Take Tylenol for any headaches. Midol for any cramps.
La 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 le lulu. So he gets his own office, and then quickly we have the transition where Big Tom says, "I also have a surprise at home." So
But first, we meet Paul as he comes into town on a bus.
Yes.
We get a very clear image of who he is. Slaps a kid, throws a milk carton in a carriage.
yeah,
Piece of shit, straight
Douchebag.
up. Yeah.
douchebag. And so Tommy and Big Tom, they go home to this beautiful, beautiful house that we saw at the very beginning of the film when he hit his head on the sliding door. Classic. And
He's got his eyes closed.
got his
again.
eyes closed again. They go out to the backyard in the pool, and he opens his eyes, and then you have like the slow motion, the music.
God's sake, somebody quit covering your damn eyes.
Whoa, Dad, is that for me?
No, son, that's for me.
And that's where we get
Such a weird way
It
to
is.
introduce your stepmom.
your son. Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, and that's how we get Bo Derek's entrance into the movie, and she's coming out of the water. It's just this like iconic moment from the movie. It's hilarious. And immediately, they're drinking, having a good time. He's like, "Look, and he's like, what'd she say?
God, what an idiot.
Do you think I would have introduced you to this lady if she didn't say yes to being my wife?" Yeah.
I love it.
So it's Big Tom's gonna have a wedding. This is a big guy. He's one of the biggest members of the community. It's gonna be a big deal. He's getting married. And Tommy's here. Like you said, Rob Lowe. We just saw him. So who is he? And that's when they tell us you're gonna have a brother. Brother. I've always wanted to have a brother. And then the movie starts really moving, and that's when Rob Lowe rings on the doorbell, and we get one of my favorite lines.
Brothers don't shake hands. Brothers gotta hug.
So good. Oh, man. Oh, I love that.
Oh, God.
So good.
And they just go out on the town.
Yeah.
Paul's looking to do something
Dangerous.
dangerous. Like, is there anything else to do in
All
this town
you can
besides
handle,
eat?
bro. Besides eat. The music's so good right there. It's like, And then, Tommy turns the music up, and they find some dangerous stuff to do, and that is cow tipping.
Cow tipping.
Pretty maids all in a row. I want the one on the left.
Which one do you want? Does it matter?
Is this your first time? Can't believe you've never been cow tipping before. So also a very ridiculous thing to have in a movie.
Cow
Grown
tipping.
men, what you do is you get your shoulders in between.
I've never known
Belly option on two.
I have never known anybody who ever has even considered cow tipping.
No.
Like, Jesus, maybe because I didn't grow up in the Midwest. Maybe there's nothing else to do in there.
Sandusky, Ohio. Yeah.
But
God.
Jesus Christ. And he slips and falls in the mud.
Goes horribly.
Yeah.
Goes horribly, and there,
Causes a stampede.
Yeah. Go, brother! Brother!
I'll save you.
And they're at the gas station, spraying. Paul's spraying water off his. These shoes are Italian. They're worth more than your life. Whoa.
Do they have hoses like that at gas stations?
I didn't know that. I was actually going to bring that up. I didn't know they had just straight water hoses at.
I know they have the squeegee, but
Yeah.
maybe that's a 90s thing because I've never seen that.
Maybe. Or maybe it's certain gas stations in the Midwest. I don't know.
I don't know. When I was a kid, I just thought he was spraying his shoes with gasoline.
Me too. Me too. I was like, man, that's wild. Especially when he starts spraying.
Yeah, I was like, fuck.
Come on, spray me. I'm a maniac on the floor.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid? Why?
And that's when we get the immediate bum bum, and it goes straight to the wedding right after that line. What a great transition. I love that.
That's one of the most famous from the movie. Just you eat a lot of paint chips when you were.
Why?
I don't know why it's so funny.
It's hilarious. It's perfect.
A lot of this movie's just delivery. Oh,
That's what it is.
comedic timing,
That's
man.
Chris Farley. Yeah, it's the physical nature and the timing. So now the wedding's happening. Big Tom, and has a little powwow with his sons with Tommy, and Tommy's like, "Dad, I just want you to be happy." It's a nice moment.
It's endearing.
It is a nice moment. You're like set up for.
You realize, he's an idiot, but he's not an asshole. He's a good kid.
Yeah,
Who's just a complete moron.
Loves his dad. Yeah, he loves his dad. His dad loves him.
Loves his dad, loves his town, loves his company.
Yeah,
and
loves Richard.
Yeah, and he just wants to do the right thing, but he's such a goddamn moron. He can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
Great.
So at this wedding, you have some funny moments like, "You kidding? Go get him, Tom!" And then you have, "Boy, would I like to get some of that."
I love when Richard shows up to bring him to the.
Yes,
He's like,
yes.
How do we look? Chubby?
I think it was champagne talking. Yeah, that part's
He
great.
just starts laughing to himself.
You got an edit button on that thing?
It'll cost you.
It'll cost you. Say a little something in the camera. Say a little something in the camera.
Yeah.
You have Michelle Brock. I guess we forgot about her introduction.
Oh yeah,
Because that's when RT's like, you see these two letters next to the city? That's the state. Why don't you go back to college for another 7 years?
study a globe.
Don't worry. RT just found out what a loser he is. Yeah, what a loser he is.
So Michelle used to go to high school with Tommy. They were friends.
Yeah.
And they start developing
Little friendship,
a
yeah.
little friendship
Yeah.
going.
Well, kinship.
She has a weird filing system that doesn't really make a lot of sense to anybody but her.
Doesn't use cabinets. Yeah.
And he's just like they rekindle a friendship.
Yeah.
And at the wedding, they get Tom and Beverly get married. Tom and Tommy sing Ray Charles' "What I'd Say." Great song, great performance.
Incredible.
And at that performance, Big Tom has a heart attack.
Yeah, and dies right there. Yeah.
Hard left, surprising, boom, emotional mic drop.
It goes from "I'm gonna need you, Tommy boy, to get this party started"
Yeah.
to 2 minutes later
just,
he's gone. It's still almost,
It hurts.
It makes me cry.
Yeah, man.
And then you have a pretty jaw dropping funeral scene where they have the cut, and then it shows all the people there, and they have the cut where it just shows Tommy and Richard.
Yeah.
The only ones left because Big Tom was like a father figure to Richard because Richard didn't have a dad. So you're just man, you're feeling all these emotions. Right now I got the chills. I'm like, man, it's just rough, and you're just laughing your ass off. And then it takes this hard left. Still trips you up.
The score playing Amazing Grace with the bagpipes, that gets me every time.
And you just see Chris Farley walking, and knowing all that you know about him. Yeah. It's just kind of it became. This moment in the movie kind of became more iconic because of what happened to Chris Farley too.
True.
For me, and watching him, and then it goes to the scene with the sailboat.
Well, in this scene, Tommy's, he's lost his dad, the one person he's always been able to count on to have his back, to help him out. And also, he now realizes the immense weight on his shoulders because he's the next Callahan to take over this place. Yep. So it's all on him now. So he, realizing that this movie has a surprising amount of emotional heft, and I love that.
You could, if you on paper had a movie about a guy who is mentally, struggling with a lot of things and has bad health and deals with alcoholism and drugs and goes to school for 7 years to finish, also doesn't have a mom because she's passed away for unspoken reasons, and then you go home to this tiny town to work for your dad, and then he dies. That's a recipe for an unbelievable movie, drama movie.
Yeah.
With Philip Seymour Hoffman starring as
shit, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that part of the movie is so essential to it being as much as I love it now, it has this heart to it that most comedies don't.
A spoiled rich kid realizes the emotional weight on his shoulders after the death of his father.
Yeah, and what he does in these next scenes is so fucking valiant, as a human.
Yeah.
And what you're saying about him earlier about Dad, I just want you to be happy about. He's a good dude. As dumb as he may be, or as fucked up he may be in the brain from smoking too much and drinking too much, this dude's has a good heart. And that's why I love Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
Tommy is one of my he's a hero of mine.
If he was Tommy. Yeah. If he was an asshole, this movie wouldn't work.
No way. No way. He couldn't even be like a Lloyd Christmas. He couldn't even be like a little bit selfish. he like is working for everybody else.
He honestly doesn't do much for himself at all in the movie.
Ever. I mean, yeah, you have the line where this guy's trying to put you on the street, and all you can say is, he seems like a nice guy. You know? He
sees the best in people.
That's
really cool.
Fucking Tommy Callahan. Yeah. It's great. It's good. It's good to talk about these things and why you love comedy so much. Because There's
I've often thought that, especially like when I do my reviews on the website, comedy is the hardest to talk about
and to rate.
Yeah, really.
You know?
It's really hard to say what you like and what you don't like about comedy because it's all subjective.
Yeah. What makes you laugh. Yeah.
Like doing this right now it's good to unpack this kind of movie because we get to, really dig into not just what's funny, but why this is a good movie.
Yeah, why it's lasted so long.
Yeah.
25 years, so strong. Yeah. So, yeah, obviously powerful stuff. And we have then, again, immediate cut. This is like what's great comedy movies do. They cut it immediately and make you laugh again. And we're on the sailboat with Michelle. And obviously Chris Farley's, Tommy's end of the boat is like way down. And he's like in the water. And Michelle's up, there's no wind at all.
No.
And you got 3 kids.
While he's having an emotional...
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just don't know what I'm going to do.
He's trying not to cry in front of her.
And he's like, oh, God, I sound like an idiot right now. And she's like, no, you're good. He's like, I'm just going to miss him, I love my dad. And then you just hear these 3 punk-ass
Hey,
kids.
Gilligan, did you eat the skipper? Like,
hey, lady, there's a whale on your boat. Yeah, Free Willy.
Jesus.
Crazy shit that, honestly, you probably can't put in a movie today.
I just
love
shaming
this fat guy.
His reaction. You better pray to the God of skinny punks that this wind doesn't pick up. Because I'll come over there and jam an oar up your ass.
Ooh.
The God of skinny punks. It makes me laugh every time.
Pray to the God of... God. And you were saying? Yeah. Just need a little wind.
And then she freaks out on them and scares the shit out of them.
Wind? You're going to need to drop a couple of 100 pounds, blimp. Hey, your sail is limp, just like your dick. Fuck those kids, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Michelle tells him off, I know where you live and I know where you sleep. By the time your mother sees what I've done to you, she'll cry.
Tommy's just like, wow.
I don't know where they live.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
So the board of directors at Callahan are struggling because Big Tom was pretty much the only thing keeping this place afloat because everyone trusted him. With him gone, the bank doesn't want to front them the money, which means they can't get the brake pads out the door, which means they can't make the money that they need to stay afloat, so they're going to have to sell to Zelensky. And Tommy says that if he offers, he'll offer his house for collateral so they can get the loan, so they can get the brake pads up and running. It's really noble. He's risking everything, his inheritance, his whole, his family's money to make this happen because his dad believed in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. He's like, my dad said these brake pads are pretty cool. I think we should, see what we can do about them. Awesome, just fucking Tommy. And, this is when the plot starts to kind of thicken and heat up with who we thought was marrying Big Tom, when indeed she's actually in a relationship with the son.
Yeah, they're actually married. It's a con.
Yeah, total con artist. Which you had a hunch for. Do you remember how you reacted to this the first time you saw it?
I knew he was a piece of shit. I knew he was up to something. I didn't think she was in on it.
Yeah, I didn't think they were straight up married.
That was a surprise.
Yeah, same for me. Still trips me up these days, Oh man!
I love in the boardroom scene when everyone's like saying, and then the company's gonna go under, and then that one lady's like, and that's when the whores come in.
One time I visited a prostitute in Vietnam, and ever since
my life's been a living hell.
That's when the whores come in. I like her idea.
And Tommy agrees to go on Big Tom's sales trip to try to get these brake pads.
It has to be done. And they have to sell 500,000 units.
Yes, in order to make a profit
to make this work.
Keep this place afloat.
Yeah.
But Tommy doesn't know dick about brake pads, so he points out Richard knows everything about these, and he has a open schedule now, so they're going to go on this road trip together. Richard is like, no.
Yeah, I'm not going on the road with this guy. Yeah.
No one can help baby Huey.
And he's like, do you have a better idea?
Nope.
Things are going great. And then we get.
It's like, Tommy, this is not a vacation for me. I'm out here against my will. So the least you could do is pretend to work.
You're right. Let's review.
Yeah.
Don't take no shit from no one. Don't take no prisoners. No, we don't take no for an answer.
What's our carrying charge? 1.5%.
Why can't...
Well, try a word association. Say the average human uses 10% of their brain. How much do you use? 1.5%. The rest is clogged with malted hops and bong resin.
Let's see, morons here.
God, their back and forth is great. It's the next town over, tons of fun. It's got to be there. Brilliant. God. They were the comedic duo, man.
Tons of fun. David Spade's thoroughly underrated.
Oh, for sure, man.
Always will be. Always be overshadowed.
He always plays the straight man. He's great at that.
You need him, yeah.
You need someone to bounce off of.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ.
So they're outside the first place, and Tommy's just like, come on, I got to do this. He's freaking out.
Yeah, getting hyped up for the sale. Trying to make a sales pitch.
Yeah.
And
Richard's giving him some last-minute pointers like, remember, we don't take no shit from anyone.
And then he realizes, he pulls his tie. It's a clip-on. Are you sure?
This suit made me look fat. No. Your face does.
Yeah, his reaction to that is so good.
It's like, no, we don't take no for an answer. They go inside. It's like, no. Okie dokie. And he just keeps leaving. He's no salesman.
So Beverly and Paul, instead of suing for divorce and taking half of Big Tom's estate, Beverly was inherited controlling interest in the actual company.
But she doesn't get any money until the company sells.
Exactly. Yeah. Her it's kind of useless, her stake in it, unless it becomes someone else's property.
So they need Tommy to fail in order for this to work.
Yeah, which means obviously no one knows that Beverly and Paul are married, but they do, and they're like, oh shit, we gotta make sure Tommy can't get this done. They don't think he will because he's dumb.
How did they? But this was 95. I mean, there were documents, there were background checks, fingerprints. Like, how did they think they were gonna get away with this?
I don't know.
They didn't even change their names. They were still Paul and Beverly. For Christ's sake, they didn't even change.
Lazy motherfuckers.
Amazing. So, I think on their fourth or fifth guy, they get a maybe. And Tommy tries...
Tommy and Richard, yeah.
Tommy tries to further the point by demonstrating with the guys'
driving along.
vintage cars. I can't stop! Just destroys this guy's little car.
Yeah, it sets it on fire,
Oh my God!
All because you want to save a few extra pennies.
We're burning alive!
New medics in the backseat. Oh my God.
New guys in the back puking his guts out.
Whoa, that was close.
Do you validate? Get out!
Get out.
Do you validate? Just that little bit extra, man.
Perfect, yeah. Again, all timing. And these scenes. Yeah. Just want to drive myself into a goddamn bridge.
Dad just died. We just killed Bambi. They hit the deer. They put it in the back. My God.
Yeah, I mean, these scenes, they just keep adding up. Of course, there's the scene of them actually fighting.
Yeah.
And Richard hits him with the wood. Prehistoric forest, yeah. And then they're eating, and there's a huge turning point in the movie because they're eating, and Tommy's like, man, my face really hurts. Not so much here or here, but right here.
This big fat gash across his cheek.
And then the waitress comes up and is like, Jesus, what happened to your face?
I knew it. See, Richard?
Yeah. Helen, you look like a Helen. Let me tell you why I suck.
As a salesman.
Yeah, and so he goes into his spiel about how he's terrible, and I pet it.
That whole bit is so weird.
He's holding the little roll as his sail. I pet it, and I stroke it and massage it. Naughty. It's naughty pet.
I love when he just starts shaking. Yeah. I love that.
Jojo the Indian circus boy. Yeah, and he goes in this whole spiel, and he, ultimately wanted wings, and he goes in this whole thing, and she's like, you know what? She says, God, you're sick. And then Helen says, you know what? I want to throw the fryers back on. We're going to get you those wings. And he's like, Tommy likey. Tommy want wingy.
God, you're sick. I love it.
And then Richard is like, why do they always have to deter these things?
Yeah, he got a shrimp cocktail.
Yeah, he's like, how'd you pull that 180, on that waitress? He's like, why don't you just sell like that, man? You have nothing to lose. And he's like, well, yeah, I have nothing to lose because we always got the meat lover's pizza in the back. I love that line. We got the meat lover's pizza in the back.
Well, he's just like, well, I was just having fun.
Yeah.
Like he realizes he's just got to be himself, have fun.
To get what you want, sometimes you just got to be you.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. That's what his dad was so good at. And that's what Richard starts explaining to him. He's like, book smarts way bye-bye to you a long time ago. But street smarts your dad had and you have. That's what you took from your dad.
Hey, everybody, it's Tony Robbins.
Oh, my God. It's great. It's the turning point in the movie where they realize, hey, we might have a chance here if we can get creative.
Maybe the board of the head really did knock something loose.
Yeah.
Where the hell did he get a board?
I don't know.
They're on the side of the road.
Prehistoric forest. I love that.
We didn't even talk about the scene at the gas station when he fucks up the car.
I know. I mean, there's so many little things. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, yeah. When he goes into the gas station, he's like, you need to get yourself a new map. I can sense your sarcasm. Well, I'm laying it on pretty thick. Yeah, and you have Chris Farley in the background. That's one of my favorite bits. As far as the film itself goes, you got Spade and this guy, the gas station worker, doing their thing, and you got Farley in the background. No words, all physical.
Trying to get the car door
and his
back.
hair is like flopping up and down. It's beautiful.
He gets the door back on there, and Richard's like, why didn't you pump any gas? Like, they're all out. They just got diesel. We got to move on. Richard, rubs off a little smudge.
Mark, yeah.
Opens the door. The fucking door falls off. And Tommy's just like, what'd you do? It's so fucking great.
It's amazing. That's the beginning of his car. Just, yeah. Like you said, Bambi.
The deer just completely trashes his car.
We just killed Bambi.
Rips up the top. Kills the windows. Destroys the seats.
No way that just happened. I've seen a lot of things in my life, but that was awesome. Sorry about your car, dude. I love that, man. Yeah, that chunk of it when they're on the road. I mean, when he pulls over and he's peeing, and he's like, whoa. And he's like, I pulled my zipper up too fast. I got to piss on me.
Richard, you're a riot. Slow down.
I love that. You're a riot. Oh, man. And Spade now is like a little more, he's got the backwards hat. He's just great. I love
He's getting more loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
Because they make a sale.
Yes, so let's get to the sale. After Richard's like, hey, man, let's use that. Let's use your free-flowing.
Remember, chicken wings.
Just be you. And so they go to this guy, and this guy's hung up about how there's not a guarantee on the brake pad box.
Yeah.
And, and Richard taps him like, chicken wings. And that's when Chris Farley, chicken wings. Let's think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
I can take a shit and put it inside of a box. You don't guarantee it, but it's still a guaranteed piece of shit,
Yeah.
Goes into that whole, it's really great.
Yeah.
Also pretty good cinematography. When they're moving up, you don't think about that a lot with comedies, but this movie is not just average. Like, I like aspects of it. We've both seen it, probably 100 times. So
Yeah.
you start paying attention to those things. As that guy who just doesn't want to talk to them is like, your time's up. They keep following, they go up the stairs. It's pretty fun. Yeah. The movie starts kind of picking up in pace, and you get excited because he says, okay, I'll buy from you.
They're both like, what?
What?
And then that night...
Yes, here you go. Yeah. Here we go.
They're gonna celebrate. Tommy's gonna go get a pizza. They're happy they made a sale. Richard doesn't want them to jinx it. He's like, come on, let's celebrate a victory. So he goes to get a pizza. Richard starts laughing to himself about Tommy. He goes to close the curtains, and he sees this really hot girl up at the pool. Tommy walks by. Richard's like, come on, Tommy, don't give him the weight room thing. He's just like, you know where the weight room is?
I'll check it out.
Such a... And she's, being alone, she strips and jumps in the pool. And he starts whacking off.
Yeah. Speaking of nobody's watching.
I didn't get any of this when I was a kid.
No.
That I watched it around 16, 17, and I'm like, fuck, this movie's so much funnier than I remember.
Yeah. No kidding.
Tommy shows up, Richard caught, jumps in bed, and Tommy's like, Richard, what were you doing? He's not being very subtle about it.
No, not at all. And he's like, he's like, oh, I was just, looking through stuff in my briefcase. Richard, how could we be looking through your briefcase when it's over here? Then he goes and looks out the window, and he's like, that's a pretty girl down there.
Wonder if she goes out with one of the Yankees.
Richard, were you watching Spanktravision? Oh, what's his name? Buddy Wackett? Yep, you got it. All right.
Who's your favorite little rascal? Is it Alfalfa or is it Spanky?
That I never got that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he keeps holding on to it. Chris Farley's like, oh, like Tommy's holding on to that because he's like, you fucking jerked off, you bastard. I went to get a pizza and you jerked off. Oh my god. Like, think about if that happened. Like, if that happened to you and I, and you came back and you caught me, you wouldn't let me live that down ever. I mean, I would never fucking do that because I'm not an idiot. Richard is.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Incredible scene that, yeah, it doesn't make sense until you're a certain age.
Yeah.
Because they're being upfront about it, but not. It's like,
it's subtle
it's not
enough
saying
to be
straight
funny.
up, were you masturbating? You know?
Yeah.
It's like, spank your vision, buddy whack it.
It wouldn't be as funny if Tommy just straight up said, were you masturbating?
Were you jerking it? Yeah. Jeez. But it is a great scene. And you know, all right, the salesman has left the building. You know?
Yeah.
You got all that. He's all excited.
Around that time, we see Zelensky's commercial, too.
Yeah, when they're in the hotel. Yeah, well, we also missed, again, it gets so bunched up in the middle there. That scene at the other hotel when they haven't made any sales yet, and he rips fat guy
in a little coat. Yeah.
Richard, fat guy in a little coat.
Those fucking moths. That was aggressive amount of moths.
Take it off, dickhead.
Richard, what's happening?
Yeah, that's a great scene. And yeah, he says, like, you know, they're watching, and Zelensky, Dan Aykroyd's character is like, I make, you know, American working right for the American working man because that's who I am. That's who I care about. You know, does all that. And Chris Farley, or Tommy's like, he seems like a nice guy. Richard, it's like my favorite line from him, besides when they're in the airplane. When he's like, when he's like, this guy's trying to, like, take 300 jobs from us, you know, not to mention put you on the streets. And all you can say is, he seems like a nice guy. And he's like, what? You know, that banter, man. You could watch it for hours.
You really could.
Hours. You could have got 10 movies of this, you know, the same kind of formula of them two just doing stuff. Oh, it's so good. Meanwhile, they made their first sale, right? So Beverly and Paul hear about it, and Paul's like immediately like freaking out. And Beverly's like, all right, it's one sale, man. Like, I don't think he's going to make, you know, get 500,000, you know?
Yeah.
Chill out. It's one. And he's like thinking of ways, you know, like, well, we can stop the trucks, you know, we can do this, do that. And that's what he sets out to do, is stop the trucks.
Yeah.
Which is a hilarious scene. Because he goes at night, of course, to Callahan to shoot the truck tires, right?
Yeah.
When you see the dog, get as far away as you can. Don't stay where you are like, oh, that was close. I think I'm going to stay right here, though, you know?
Just outside of
I've never
biting
understood that. Back it up. Back it the fuck up, you know? To where there's just it's not possible. But, you know, it's pretty funny because the dog gets him.
Were you ever in a car that had those automatic seatbelts?
No.
I was. My grandpa had a black, I want to say it was like a Pontiac something when I was a kid, and it had those auto seatbelts, and I hated those damn things. I always felt like they were going to strangle me. And we had a dog, Molly, who ripped those apart. So thank you, Molly, for that. But yeah, I always thought that was a very like horrible design. Auto seatbelts. It fucks up Paul pretty bad.
It does. It does. Yeah, you have the sign fall. The dog is freed and gets him in the car, and he gets beat up pretty bad.
Surprised they didn't kill him.
But, which is probably worse because he ends up going into the computers and changing fucking numbers as Tommy and Richard are making sales.
Ruins their...
Because they keep making sales. After they make one, they can't stop.
Nope. They're on a,
Make it take it, baby.
Of the one guy's like, yes, I'll buy. And then he asks Tommy if he ever ate paint chips.
Yeah. Yeah. by the way, did you eat paint chips as a kid? Yeah, I love that. And you got a really funny scene with obviously Tommy and Richard when Tommy's asleep. Housekeeping. 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 You want pillow? No. I want sleepy. Housekeeping. You want me to jerk you off? The hell kind of hotel is this?
No towels, just let me sleep for the love of God.
For the love of God. Oh, it's you. And in that scene, that's when Richard tells him like they're making their mark, of sales.
They did it.
Like they did it. They've made all these sales, and they don't know yet that Paul has been messing with the numbers in the computer, which happens to be Michelle's computer, because Michelle is in charge of receiving.
Yeah,
so it's like, fuck, that's Tommy's. It's Tommy's friend.
She gets blamed for it, and
dude,
she either quits or she was fired.
She ends up just leaving. In that scene, because Tommy comes back. They come back to Ohio, back to Sandusky to kind of see what happened.
Richard's like, this feels like a bad Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
He's in the back holding his head. Did anyone see scanners?
So good. So good.
Half the orders have already canceled, so it's fucked up. They can't do it. They're not going to make the order. They got to sell to Zelensky.
Yeah, and the bank, backed by Beverly and Paul, they, of course, decide to sell.
Tommy and Richard go driving. Richard gets drunk.
Yeah.
They're just talking, we tried, we failed.
They're just bullshitting,
And Richard throws up in the car, and the cops turn on the sirens and start tailing Tommy. And Tommy's like, they're never going to believe I wasn't drinking. The whole car smells like beer. I got an idea. And he starts swerving. And he drives into the grass, and they jump out of the car going, bees!
Bees! Bees!
It's actually pretty brilliant.
It is. I would try it if I were desperate enough.
If I was in that situation, knowing I was going to go to jail, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Straight from Tommy.
Of course, nowadays the police probably just shoot at the
these
bees.
cops are like, I'm allergic. Yeah. Just roll around on the ground for a little while.
We'll come back later and check on you.
Yeah,
And they fuck off.
Holy shit, it worked.
Richard's just like, I puked on an anthill.
Ugh,
I think
that's
they're
the
pissed.
answer. No, I don't think so. That's when they see the big billboard of Zelensky, and that's it. Like, let's just go to Chicago. Let's go. He seems like a nice guy.
Let's reason with him.
Let's talk to him.
So they decide they're going to go to Chicago and talk to Zelensky themselves. They
Yeah.
go to the airport. But before that, Michelle went to the airport, and she saw Paul and Beverly making out.
Yes.
Aggressively.
Yes.
At the
So
airport.
she's like, holy shit. And so she calls her brother, who's a cop.
Yeah.
She's like, let me get Detective Brock on, and see if I can get some background information on these two fuckers. So that's what she does. Mm-hmm. And then we have quite possibly my favorite stretch of the movie when Chris Farley and David Spade, just absolutely legendary stuff. Could have been a skit on SNL for sure. when they steal the flight attendants' uniforms and they are wearing them.
Could never get away with that.
No!
After
I love
today's
that. I love that part. It's just So there's no way. It's so unbelievable.
What are we serving today? Chicken or chicken?
Yeah, they told us we'd be shorthanded today. Yeah, like can you guys take the announcements? Yeah, sure. Don't worry. Throw a couple bags of peanuts on him. We'll be there before you know it.
This here's Tommy. What does he say? He's he's a Scorpio.
Yeah,
and he's never been laid.
He's never been laid. If you can't figure this out, you are a retard.
The seatbelt. I love that.
And then my favorite part is the restroom. David Spade goes in the restroom to change.
It's like 2 seconds.
And Chris Farley's face is the whole thing.
He's trying to figure it out.
And then he goes in and it takes him, a long time because he keeps bumping into everything. The little folding thing keeps falling onto his head. Oh, jeez. His tie gets sucked into the toilet.
My favorite bit of that is when they're going after the... it's like, all right, next up, life vests. Don't know why we should bother with these. Odds are if we crash into something, it's going to be a mountain.
It's going to be a mountain. Yeah, that part is great.
Tommy puts on the child life vest and starts strangling himself. He pops it with that lady's pen.
The old lady, yeah.
He's a big dumb animal, isn't he, folks?
And then that old lady, isn't he, folks? And then that lady's in the restroom. Ay, caramba. There's a 30-minute time limit, ma'am. So good.
God.
And before you know it, they land in Chicago.
They land in Chicago, they get in a cab, and Tommy's rubbing himself with an air freshener. It's like Richard's like, you're gonna smell like a cab driver. The guy looks back like, what? It's like, not that that's bad.
And the cab driver gives him a good,
good
little brake check. Oh, son of a. We needed that. Remind us that we're watching Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
So they go to, Zelensky's, this is his tower, his building.
They go into his building and they're trying to find him. Tommy goes to check the bank and he just screams, listen up, this will only take a second.
And everybody drops. The two security guards throw their guns at him.
He's like, oh, jeez. And he runs out.
Shit.
You do not do that in a bank. Jesus Christ.
Unless you're Tommy, yeah.
Tommy goes to find Richard's like, walk slow.
Jesus, what happened over here?
Like consorting with a known felon.
Hey, that's no, some other fat guy with the tiny head. I have a tiny head.
And they get in the elevator, and Zelensky's in the elevator.
Yeah. Oh, Zelensky.
Say something.
Yeah, pretty. I would be.
Intimidated?
Yeah. Good God.
The king of auto parts?
Well,
Yeah.
and just Dan Aykroyd, just like, oh my God. Well, because you're Chris Farley, you're David Spade, you're like, this guy, if he didn't exist, I don't know if I do,
Pioneer.
SNL, yeah, like, that's got to be just like, whoa,
Yeah, man.
That's going to be pretty amazing. Well, just like if like Bill Hader got to work with Chris Farley, it'd be like, oh man, that's the guy that was doing it when I was before I did. It's just, I love stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Legacies.
Yeah, and and we finally get Dan Aykroyd on the fucking screen. Like, we finally have Zelensky here in the flesh.
Sorry to hear about your dad.
Yeah.
He was a good man.
He was a good man, yeah.
So insincere.
Yeah, and...
But a little heavy on the pine tree and perfume there, kid.
I was about to say, he actually comments on the air freshener, which we got when we went to Draft House. One of the props was a little cab air freshener.
It's hanging in my car.
Pretty cool. Me too, yeah. It won't leave, like, ever,
No.
yeah.
Well, if he's like, it's a taxi cab air freshener. It's like, good, you pinpointed it. Step 2 is washing it off.
Yeah, step two. Step 2 is
He's like a robot. The way he talks.
And when they get off the elevator, and he's like, tell these two boys, let's get him out of here.
Yeah, they're following him through his industrial side of things, trying to convince him about Callahan, and he's like, look, it's nothing personal, but sometimes you got to tie a factory to a tree and bash him with a shovel.
Yeah, yeah. It's not the fact. I just want the Callahan name. Yeah.
Why should I waste money? All I want's the goddamn box.
Yeah.
Ah.
Dan Aykroyd. It's,
I love that Chicago accent. I can't get over that shit.
God, I love that. And so Zelensky, keeps walking, tells two security guards, like,
Escort him out of the building.
kindly escort them, back downstairs and out of the
Paul
building.
and Beverly are in there about to sign Zelensky.
What's my family doing in there? Is what Tommy says. Little does he know.
And he realizes outside on a bench that,
The bench breaks.
yeah, could have done without that.
Yeah.
Insult to injury. Michelle shows up, tells Tommy, that she saw Paul and Beverly kissing in the airport and that they're married. So Tommy comes up with a plan and goes inside.
I've got a plan.
He Shatners it, which is weird. I've got a plan. And
I love that. Yeah, that's great.
he goes inside the building and shows the security guards he's got what looks like dynamite strapped to wires and a watch. So big fat risk. Damn. I mean, domestic terrorism.
Yeah, no kidding.
Jesus.
And it's like on live news. Yeah,
It's amazing.
Because he gets that crew to come with. Yeah.
It's amazing he wasn't picked up by the feds.
No, and also not to mention that people thought he had just held up them like moments before. So it's like, how is the guy who did that and made all of you jump to the ground just sitting on a park bench outside? Makes no sense. There's a few things in this movie that are like completely implausible as far as like legal.
Yeah.
Well, like you're saying with Beverly and Paul, it's like they didn't fucking change their name. Like, how do they not find these fuckers, Yeah.
Typically, if you're committing fraud, you don't commit fraud under your name.
Yeah.
That's just me. I don't know.
Speaking of fraud, that's what,
Yep.
Michelle obviously brings up to them, and they're like, let's go do this.
So they bring a news team into the board meeting.
Yeah.
And Tommy talks to Zelensky on
And Zelensky's
camera.
like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Talks to him and kind of, almost blackmails his reputation into buying the brake pads from Callahan. And he does. He buys 500,000 brake pads, saves the factory.
On live TV.
But he's like, what does it matter? I'm going to own the factory in a couple of minutes anyway.
That's when you have like Lewis and the other guys at Callahan. Tommy just sold 500,000 brake pads. They go crazy.
You cheer. It's great. He won. He did it.
Awesome, yeah.
And the news team leaves. He's like, oh, these are road flares. And Zelensky asks him, did you live under power lines when you were a kid? Why?
I love that. God, I love that.
And that's when the news leaves and the Michelle reveals that Paul's committing fraud, which means that their shares still belong to Tommy, which means he's not selling the factory.
Yeah.
So Paul takes off, and Zelensky tells Tommy, you pulled a fast one on me. Savor the flavor, because it sure as shit won't happen again.
Yeah, I love that. So
Gotta check to Callahan for those brake pads. He's good on his word. I
Hell
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Zelensky may be a greedy salesman, but he plays by the rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I respect that greatly.
It truly was not personal. He didn't
and
want
then
to
he
take
steals the girl and, has the classic line, that I can't quote like myself like fluently with the marbles and all that. Yeah.
Tough break kid, get drunk on me. Use the bucket to ice down your marbles. Here's Z.
When he does, when it happens in the movie, you're like, man,
dude, he's got comedic flow like nobody else.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, it really is.
Ugh.
God.
Yeah, fantastic. So
incredible.
Oh, and in that bit, we learned Richard's bald.
Yeah.
If you tell anybody, I will kill you. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, I will kill you.
It's such a little thing. It doesn't need to be there.
It's okay, Richard.
It's such a great little bit. Explains a lot of Richard's insecurities.
Yes. Late again, Tommy? You're pathetic.
So now he did it. He saved the factory. Tommy gets inaugurated as the new president of Callahan. And he's giving a speech to the crowd. We built our first fort together, Lewis. I lost my virginity to your daughter, RJ. What was it?
It's like, what?
Yeah. You were there?
Yeah.
The
guy walks away.
He runs, yeah. So he's going to run this place. He's going to run it like his dad did, like a family. And he goes out to, kind of let his dad go on the boat. And wind picks up and knocks him on the head. So it's a little bit.
Special moment.
Yep. And that's the end of the movie. It's a great movie.
It's a wonderful movie.
Very cute, very funny. I give it a 9.
Yeah. This is one of those where it's like, why is it not a 10? Well, because, like those things we pointed out, there's some just extreme implausibilities that there's just, these things would never happen. Can't happen.
There's very few comedy 10s for me.
Yeah. Comedy 10s are saved for movies that push it, like The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
And Grand Budapest Hotel.
Tropic Thunder for me.
Movies that go a little bit further than the typical. It's gonna be hard for any like Dumb and Dumber or this to go above a 9.
I agree.
I give it a 9 as well. God, I love it. Love it so much. It's so quotable, so much fun, and I'll be watching it, just over and over and over again for the rest of my life. It'll be one of those that, like when you're my friend, I just got to be able to quote it around you.
Without a doubt, yeah.
I got to be able to. You got to be able to know. You got to know what I'm talking about. And it's wicked important to both of us, both of our film watching lives.
Yeah. Essential to our development.
And very essential to the comedy, the love we have for comedy.
For sure, man.
Chris Farley, man. Rest in peace.
Oh, this was fun. This was very fun. And stay tuned for our episode on Velvet Buzzsaw this Wednesday.
Yeah, very excited for that.
And if you haven't already, check out our episode on Judy Garland. Fantastic actress, underrated, I think, in a lot of circles.
Yeah.
And we'll have a lot of these Sunday fun day episodes just for you while things are slow in the movie community.
Yeah, we're gonna try to keep it. We're gonna try to get it to where even though there's not movies coming out in theaters, we're gonna try to have an episode each Sunday. I think that would be
have something.
Yeah, something out there.
Some anniversary movie, some top 10, something we just feel like talking about.
Because I definitely want more content in my life right now because we're gonna be sitting around a little bit more at home.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be good, to why not input our own content and have you guys enjoy it and give ideas. And I'm not kidding when if someone were to say, do this movie during the coronavirus, I'll do it.
Yeah.
If you want to hear about Black Sheep,
why not?
We'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll make that our Fun Day Sunday type thing. That's what we'll do. Because during this time, I think we all need to kind of like just come together and have fun together.
I agree.
Even if obviously we can't have a bunch of us around each other, but that's what's cool about like the internet these days is we can communicate and keep kind of being creative with each other without hanging out physically and in person. We can still have fun and still communicate and still be a society. It's just gonna be different,
True.
It's gonna be different, and it's gonna be very hard to not be able to go see movies. So we'll continue talking about old ones,
without a doubt. And we love doing this. We'll talk about anything. So if you have anything specific you want us to check out, throw us a line
on anything. Yeah, like you said, Instagram, Twitter, email,
Facebook,
all that jazz.
Yeah, we got everything. So thank you for listening, and we will catch you next Wednesday.
Peace.